Hey guys, so this next video, you probably saw my last one about nuclear war, and people are just keep wanting to picking my brains, and you saw my inspiration for the last video, but I wanted to tell you that's not how I see things going down. I don't want you worrying about cities exploding and people on fire and all these other things because in today's world, what they really want to do is they really want to just subdue the people. And the way they do it is by taking us back to the Stone Age, by destroying our infrastructure without destroying our infrastructure. I know that kind of is like a double entendre, like a real double negative thing, but basically an EMP. And this is what a lot of preppers prepare for. I'm not personally one of them. I could care less about the EMP, but a lot of people just don't have the information that they're looking for. And what they are asking me for, I'm going to try and put together in this video for you. Now, I've hit a lot of different sources that will all be available in the links below, and hopefully you'll enjoy what I'm putting together for you.
Electromagnetic pulse attack, which would literally destroy the country's capacity to function.
An electromagnetic pulse attack, or EMP. It's been the stuff of fiction on the Fox show 24.
It's an EMP!
But it's also a real threat, experts say, and it likely wouldn't look like that. An EMP attack, they say, is an intense burst of electromagnetic radiation. It can be triggered by detonating a nuclear weapon at high altitude, a weapon that could be launched by a rogue nation or a terrorist group with access to it. Detonated low to the ground, atomic weapons have a devastating physical shock. But detonated miles up in the atmosphere, experts say, the main impact is electrical, energy that doesn't kill people but spreads like lightning, striking any electrical grid or circuitry, feeding into them, burning them out.
Okay, so the idea behind an EMP is nothing new. In fact, the the U.S. government has recently released a study that basically says that this is a real threat. And we'll go over that here in a second. But just a little bit of backstory. So what an EMP is it's an energetic EMP can temporarily upset or permanently discharge electronic equipment by generating high voltage and high current surges. Semiconductors components are particularly at risk. The effects of damage can range from things that are imperceptible to the eye to devices literally bursting into flames. How do we know this? Well, because we did this stuff. One of the first ones was Operation Starfish Prime. Yeah, we did it ourselves. We actually detonated a nuclear weapon 400 kilometers above the Johnson Atoll in the northern Pacific Ocean. It had an explosive yield of 1.45 megatons, which is actually pretty small. It's approximately 100 times that of what the Hiroshima bomb had, which was 13 kilotons. The event took place at a height of the Cold War and the nuclear arms race. So we were showing the Russians that, hey, we can do this stuff. And the effects of it were unbelievable. The infrastructure in Hawaii was damaged. There was radio blackouts. There were power outages. It wasn't bad, or it wasn't a good thing. Well, in turn, the Soviets in 1961, they detonated this bomb called the Tsar Bomba. And it was capable of a 100 megaton yield. And the scientists decided to kind of like dial it back, its destructive power, to reduce the chance of fallout. They set it at about 50 megatons. It's still the most powerful nuclear explosion in history. And the general idea is that they detonate a nuclear weapon. in space outside of the atmosphere. Not high enough in the atmosphere, but outside of the atmosphere. In a nutshell, the intensity of a nuclear detonation, or an EMP, is about 30 to 50,000 volts per meter. It's 1,000 times greater than the one. It's about 1,000 times greater than your microwave can bleed off. Fortunately, not all blasts are created equal when it comes to EMPs. So the reality is that the Starfish Prime program exploded at the altitude of 250 miles into space. No radiation on Earth. People stood right under it and said, "Hey, nah." And it lit up the sky. And here's some pictures of it. Okay, so what about the hypersonic vehicles? Well, we've always had hypersonic vehicles. All nuclear weapons fly at 3 to 4 or 5 times the speed of sound. But here's the thing. The new hypersonic vehicles fly very low and are maneuverable, so they can actually be guided or maneuvered away from a possible anti-missile defense system. They're also traveling so fast that they literally can't be stopped. The current estimate is 1 hour and 41 minutes from the time a hypersonic weapon is launched from mainland China to the United States. So there's a proper fact that you probably want. So the reality is that regardless of what type of nuclear weapon that they use, it will more than likely be an EMP, which will be anywhere from 200 to 300 miles in space, somewhere over Omaha, and it will take out all of our electronics that are not shielded or protected. The likelihood of things working are very low. And the funny thing is the higher up in space it is, the more line of sight it has, which means it can affect more area. Okay, so I hope that answers your questions. Maybe we'll do another one about the effects of radiation in the future, but this is kind of a like you're picking my brain video, and these are things that I don't like to think about because I don't personally care about them. But I'm glad you do, and I hope I can help you. All right, guys, until the next time, I want you to stay safe. I want you to have a great day, and no boop because I'm inside, but this is the Sausage Factory. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.